Mr. Feynman wasn't joking. Chapter 7. Virtues as guardrails. Character as the control system. AI did not invent the habit of outsourcing judgment to authority. It merely made that habit easier to indulge. What it does uniquely, however, is strip away our excuses. When a student can conjure a plausible essay in seconds, the gap between what looks like understanding and what actually is understanding grows too wide to ignore. In that sense, AI is a philosophical test, not a technological one. It forces every school, parent, and student to answer a simple question they have managed to dodge for decades. Are we educating for performance or for reality? A system that chooses performance will find in AI a willing accomplice. A system that chooses reality will treat AI as a demanding servant and will design its methods accordingly. If a student can produce the right-looking output without doing the thinking, what will keep the student honest? External controls, filters, detectors, surveillance, bigger rubrics, cannot scale to the speed and privacy of AI use, especially when the tool is available at home and on a phone. So, the problem becomes moral as well as intellectual. The central issue is not whether students will have access to powerful tools. They will, but what kind of person will be holding the tool when no one is watching? Why policy alone fails? Schools often respond to new technology with rules. Rules matter, but rules alone are brittle in a world where shortcuts are plentiful and enforcement is imperfect. If the student's internal aim is still get the grade with minimum friction, the student will eventually treat every policy as an obstacle to route around, not a principle to live by. That's why the deeper solution can't be merely procedural. It must train a student's internal standards, so the student governs the tool instead of being governed by it. The 7 virtues as practical guardrails. A virtue framework is not decoration. It's safety engineering for the human mind. In an AI era, each virtue blocks a predictable failure mode. Rationality. Refuse to treat the model's output as reality. Verify. Define terms. Check for contradictions. Demand evidence. Honesty. Do not fake understanding. Disclose AI use. Never present borrowed cognition as personal competence. Independence. Don't outsource judgment. Use the tool as assistant, not authority. Prove you can do it without the tool. Integrity. Keep the same standards when unsupervised. Align actions with stated principles about learning and AI use. Justice. Take only what you've earned. Don't accept grades/credit that represent the model's work rather than your own understanding. Productiveness. Use AI to build and create. Faster iteration, better drafts, broader exploration, rather than to avoid effort. Pride. Seek earned self-esteem from real competence. Prefer a slower, honest mastery to a faster counterfeit. This is the crucial shift. Instead of asking, how do we catch students using AI? The question becomes, how do we build students who won't want to use AI to evade? These virtues will be discussed in our next volume in much greater detail as we build the framework for the rational education system, a new approach to education. Virtue restores what bureaucracy dissolves. Fragmented accountability makes it hard to attach responsibility to any one adult. Virtue restores responsibility at the only point that can't be outsourced, the student's own choices. A school can't watch every keystroke, but it can cultivate a culture where the student learns to value reality over appearance, understanding over performance, and earn confidence over borrowed polish. The student at the fork in the road. Picture again that AP student in economics, asked to elaborate on paper currency and finding no words. She walks out of class with 2 possible stories in her head. In the first, she tells herself, I knew the answer. I just froze. Next time I'll memorize the explanation the teacher gave and repeat it. That path is familiar, comfortable, and it cements another layer of performance over emptiness. In the second, less comfortable story, she admits, I didn't actually understand. My grade and my transcript have been lying to me. That admission takes honesty, independence, and the beginning of pride. It is the starting point of real education. A deliberate glimpse of hope. AI as a virtue test. AI can become a moral accelerator in the best sense. It quickly reveals whether a student is becoming a thinker or a performer. When the temptation to outsource is constant, the student's habits harden faster, either toward evasion or toward self-governed competence. The next question is practical. If we're serious about conceptual education, what must teaching look like so that virtue has something real to protect, something more than rules, something more than outputs?